Hey folks, I want to share with you a story. I want to share with you an epiphany, a wonderful and yet somewhat terrifying epiphany I had about the United States while I was living down there. My name's Ed Trevors. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm an Anglican priest in the Diocese of Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island, serving in the beautiful parish of Christchurch-Shelburne that sits on the ancestral and on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Today, as you can tell, I am not filming from my church building. I'm filming from a camp on Hart's Point, which is a beautiful piece of land directly across the harbor from Shelburne, Nova Scotia. It's an amazing spot. It got incredibly cold last night. This is January after all, but well worth it, and a wonderful place to be. I lived in the States in the early 2000s. I moved there in 2000, as a matter of fact, just after my oldest son was born. I was a computer programmer for a company called Kahan Carolina System Technology, and I have some really amazing, wonderful memories of that place and the people that I worked with. There was so much about it that I loved. The people of North Carolina were amazing. The food was incredible. It didn't matter where I was or who I was with. I always found that I was welcomed in. I was there in my cubicle, because it was a Japanese company and everybody had cubicles, no offices. I was there when 9/11 happened. And I remember watching the news. I remember watching how there had been a plane crashed into the World Trade Center, and then watching live as another one hit, and then hearing about another one, and then hearing about a plane crash in Pennsylvania. Now that was a horrible time. That was a rough, terrifying day. Nobody was quite sure what was coming next. Nobody was certain what was happening in that moment. Lots of questions, lots of speculation, lots of anger, lots of sadness, lots of grief. But it was in that aftermath, a few months after 9/11, that I really understood the words of Admiral Yamamoto in 1942. I fear we have wakened a sleeping tiger. I understood what he was talking about in that moment. As a Canadian living in the United States, I watched the country, because of this traumatic event, because of this exterior pressure, this exterior force, this exterior challenge that had been thrust upon them, gel. Just absolutely come together. It didn't matter race, color, language, religion, faith, socioeconomic class. It didn't matter where you came from, where you lived, where you were going. Everybody came together. It was an amazing thing. It was a powerful thing. Now, as the president in that day sought war, and Congress sought war, and the arguments began, you notice that unity begin to crumble and divide. But while the people were together, there wasn't a force on this planet that was willing to go up against them. Not one. Can you imagine a nation that is completely united? Can you imagine a generation that is completely united, a world that is completely united, a community that is completely united, not only on the direction, but how to move in that direction, not only on the vision, but on the details of that vision? Whew, we'd get there fast, right? It's probably, however, not something that'll happen. Because different brains see the future differently. Different brains envision the path differently. It's because different brains have different jobs. Different people have different places inside the system, inside the community. We don't all need to agree on the finite details. We don't all need to agree on exactly how to move from here to there. We don't all need to agree on why we need to move at all. We just need to know our jobs. We just need to agree that all of our jobs are important and valuable and needed and essential. We all have a role to play. And if we are together in that one statement, if we're together in that one idea that we all have a place, that we are all valuable, that we are all important to moving forward into the future, if we can just agree on that, there isn't a force on this planet that could stop us. I'm releasing this the morning of the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden to become the 46th President of the United States, to be sworn in as the 46th President of the United States. The same day that Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will be sworn in as the Vice President of the United States. Not everybody agrees, not everybody sees things the same way, not everybody has the same sense of hope. Not everybody believes the results. This is an opportunity for us, though, to come together, recognizing we don't all have to be on exactly the same page to be one. We don't all have to be in complete agreement with one another, in complete agreement with what we see, what we think we see, what we don't think we see. We don't all have to be in agreement for us to come together. Our future is not going to be based on any one particular ideal. Our future is not going to be based on any one particular political ideology or leaning. Our future is not going to be based on any one particular project, any one particular understanding. Our future, the future of our children, the future of our grandchildren, the future of our great-grandchildren, the future of our nations, the future of this planet, is held in many visions, many understandings, many paths. That future requires us all. It requires us all to move forward. It requires us all to see one another as essential, as precious, as deserving of love and deserving of respect. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. And I pray that you will always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. I pray also that you and I, regardless of where we come from, regardless of where we think we're going, regardless of what we believe, regardless of how we believe it, we can come together to be that unstoppable force that we can be. Amen.